Hello, and welcome to the Killer Cuties podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Cassidy, and I've seen almost every horror movie out there.
And I'm KD, and I've seen almost none of them.
So join us each week as I attempt to make a horror fan out of Katie.
As a warning, we will be discussing spoilers and some uncomfortable topics that may be in the plots, so feel free to check out the film on doesthedogdie.com first to check for any triggers before listening.
Today, we're going to be talking about the 2002 British post-apocalyptic horror film, 28 Days Later. Let's get spooky.
All right. I'm gonna kick us off with a summary. Okay, 28 days later, a highly contagious, aggression-inducing virus called Rage is unleashed in Great Britain after an infected chimpanzee is freed from a laboratory in Cambridge by a group of eco-terrorists. It spreads rapidly and becomes an epidemic, resulting in societal collapse. 20 days after the initial outbreak, bicycle courier Jim, who had an accident and fell into a coma prior to the outbreak, awakens in St. Thomas Hospital in London, which has been deserted with signs of catastrophe. Jim is attacked by infected humans, but rescued by survivors Selena and Mark. At Jim's request, the group travels to his parents' house in Deptford, where he learns that they died by suicide. That night, Mark gets a cut on his arm, which is hit with infected blood during an attack, prompting Selena to kill him before he turns. Jim and Selena then encounter cab driver Frank and his daughter Hannah, from whom they learn of a military broadcast offering protection at a blockade in Manchester. With supplies dwindling, Frank asks Jim and Selena to accompany him and Hannah to the blockade, which they accept. The group travels to Manchester in Frank's cab, but upon arriving, they find the blockade deserted. As the group struggles to plot their next move, Frank is infected when a drop of blood falls into his eye. The soldiers arrive shortly afterwards and shoot Frank dead. The remaining survivors are brought to a fortified mansion under the command of Major Henry West. However, the safety promised by the soldiers turns out to be a ruse when West reveals to Jim that the broadcast was intended to lure female survivors into sexual slavery to repopulate the world. Major West has Jim and Sergeant Farrell taken out to be shot after they refuse to go along with his plan, but Jim escapes after Farrell creates a distraction. Am I even saying that right, Farrell? After luring West away from the mansion, Jim releases Private Mailer, an infected soldier kept chained for observation, resulting in the death or infection of all of West's men. Jim, Selena, and Hannah attempt to leave in Frank's cab, but West had snuck into the back seat and shoots Jim. Hannah retaliates by putting the cab in reverse, allowing Mailer to pull West through the rear window and kill him while the three survivors drive off. We're almost done, I promise. Another 28 days later, Jim recovers at a remote cottage in Cumbria, where the infected are shown dying of starvation. As a Finnish fighter jet flies overhead, Jim, Selena, and Hannah unfurl a huge cloth banner spelling the word hello. The three survivors optimistically watch the jet as the pilot spots them. And that's what you missed on Glee.
That is what you missed on Glee.
What a movie.
What a film.
Yeah. What do you think of this movie?
Mailer's my favorite character.
Oh. Okay.
Big Mailer fan, if I'm being.
Why? Why?
I don't know. He just kills all the shitty guys.
That's true.
They were tying him up to see how long he would starve, and he was like, no.
I won't starve. I'll eat all of you.
I don't know. I just think it's funny that like he's like tied in the back, and you're like, oh no, like not a smart idea to keep a zombie that close. And then in the end, you're like, yeah, fuck him up, man.
True. Very true. Yeah, no. Honestly, I had a really good time watching this movie.
Did you? Good.
Yeah, I did. It's the first movie I feel like I kind of did myself an injustice not seeing it when it came out, because it's like the first of its kind from what I understand, and it's got all the zombie movie tropes, every single one of them. But I know those tropes from movies after 28 Days Later, not before, so they're pulling from it, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely like zombie movies that came before this and did those types of things, you know, like obviously like Dawn of the Dead is like one of the most iconic early, you know, zombie films, but
I wouldn't
I mean,
know.
technically, this isn't a zombie film. It's an infection film, right? If you care about that distinction, we can
Okay.
say it, but it's a zombie film.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, they don't technically die and reanimate. So there's that distinction. Um, but I just think this movie did it so fucking well. It's so good. I really think I honestly kind of feel bad. I mean, you said you've seen other zombie films, so maybe not, but I feel like this is our second zombie movie we did. And I really just gave you the first two like best fucking zombie movies you
Yeah.
could have like right off the gate,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So
I mean, I don't have other movies to compare it to necessarily, but I do have Last of Us, which was a life-changing show for me personally. It was incredible, and the game too. And Walking Dead, which are
yeah,
two like critically acclaimed, like best in show shows. So, and both of the movies that we've seen, Train to Busan and 28 Days Later, like kept pace with the other two, I'd say.
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I haven't seen either of those shows, which is very off-brand for me. But
Sad.
I am gonna watch Last of Us. I tried to watch Walking Dead, but now that you've seen this movie, you know that it's literally just this movie in the first episode. Like, guy wakes up from a coma, zombies. And I was like, I could just watch 28 Days Later again.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
There,
I didn't watch
yeah.
it.
There are so many parallels with Walking Dead, like the infected on a leash. They do that
That
in
happens?
Walking Dead. Yep.
Hmm.
That except they use them as like protection
Yeah.
in The Walking Dead. Spoiler a little bit, but
It's okay.
they also call them infected.
Yeah.
That's
But they just walk. You know what? I'm not going to get into this again. We've talked about how I don't understand The Walking Dead and how people are dying, like, but it's fine. It's
oh, you're
whatever.
right. They call them walkers, huh? They don't call them
Was
infected.
it?
They call them walkers.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
They just walk.
yeah, they call them walkers.
It's like work on your cardio a bit. I don't understand the issue.
Yeah, yeah.
In this one, they're fucking sprinting.
Sprinting.
They're all-star track stars. Like there's no.
The scene of them coming through the tunnel towards the car while they're trying to change the tire. I've never had so much anxiety in a movie. Like, wild. And Train to Busan too. They were runners.
I cannot tell you. I would ride that rim for miles. I'm not fixing that car right then and
Right?
there. Mm-mm.
Why is it necessary to change your tire at
Nope.
that point?
I mean, like, should you? Yes, you shouldn't run a car on a rim, but I'm
Yeah.
not staying in that tunnel.
I don't blame you.
I
I do not blame you. No, but like they did like the Ave Maria scene, you know, where Ave Maria is playing in the background and like people are dying and there's blood everywhere and
yeah.
they did that scene. They did like the touching animal scenes. They did
Mm.
Infected on the Leash. They did the cult thing where there's this promise of salvation and it's just a cult. Actually,
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
a lot of tropes, but
Interesting.
I liked it.
Well,
Yeah,
you know what? This did it first and it did it better.
100%.
I can't say that I haven't seen The Walking Dead.
I agree with you. I was a huge fan of Walking Dead. I watched every episode as it came out until the last probably 2 seasons. And
Yeah. I think it's just, I don't know. And it's just like so the ending's just kind of like beautifully set up, you know? Like Selena has to kill Mark and then she's like, "Yeah, and I'd do it to you too and I wouldn't hesitate."
mm-hmm.
And as soon as like she thinks he's infected and she hesitates and he's like, "I thought you said you wouldn't." I
Yep.
was like,
Yep.
"Oh, please."
Also, what like struck me about the ending was that it said hello and not help.
Yeah.
That got me. Like just very good resolution.
Yeah, yeah. They had like it took them a while to figure out the ending of this movie too. They had quite a few alternate endings that they were working on. Um, I think Jim died in like almost all of them.
Oh God.
Yeah, so first they were like, oh, it was just going to be him dying of the gunshot wounds, and that was kind of how it ended. And
Yeah.
then,
Lackluster.
yeah, I think another one, like it was all supposed to just be a dream, which so glad that they did not do
Oh
that.
yeah. Like he wakes up from his coma afterwards.
Yep. And then I think in like one that they had like storyboarded out and everything, uh, Frank, instead of getting killed, so like the whole army section was not even going to be a thing. Frank wasn't going to be killed. They were going to tie him up and take him to a hospital where like Jim was going to go through a blood transfusion. So basically, like give him the blood and then he takes the infection and sacrifices himself.
That was like the back half of the movie.
Yeah, but they were like, that doesn't make any goddamn sense. If we're saying that a drop of blood in your eye can cause infection, then a transfusion that wouldn't work. So that's
Right.
not like plausible. So they scrapped that and went with the ending that we have now, which I think is exactly what should have been.
Yeah. But there's sequels, right?
There is one sequel, yes, which is actually another. They wanted it to be ambiguous in this movie whether or not the infection had spread worldwide.
Yeah.
Selena says at one point she thinks it has. One of the soldiers says, I don't think so. I think it's just like they cut us off and they're just leaving us to like basically weed it out. In the sequel, we find out that it was contained and it did not spread worldwide. So,
Interesting.
yes. But the sequel's pretty good too. I think it holds up well compared to the first. It's definitely not as good, but I still enjoyed it.
I mean, don't all of the infected kind of die off because they're starving?
I guess you'll have to wait and see.
Darn. Well.
28 days later to Mailer's Revenge.
Uh, Well, how scary did you think it was? Did you?
I gave it a 2 out of 5. I don't think it's that scary, but I do think like the concept is scary because it's not entirely impossible that it couldn't happen. They're running, which I don't like. And then honestly, like the entire ending is kind of like way more scary than like anything else in the movie, I think. I don't like those army men. I hate them. And they were scarier than the zombies.
Yeah. Well, in a absolute first, I only gave it a 1.5.
All right. That's fair.
I didn't think it was scary at all.
Yeah. I mean, I don't now, but like when I remember when I first watched it and I was like, yikes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for whatever reason, I just didn't bat an eyelash.
Yeah.
I don't
There you
remember
go.
what I rated Train to Busan, but it was definitely scarier. It's been a while.
I don't remember what I rated it either. I don't think I necessarily find it that scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
This was definitely less scary. So
Yeah,
for me at least.
that's fair.
This has like no, I should have said this before I asked you how scary it was. It has nothing
That's
to do with
okay.
how scary it was. I don't know if it was just like where/how I was watching the movie, and I'll leave that ambiguous. But the sound mixing is awful. Very bad, right?
So when we watched The Others,
Yeah.
I mentioned that there was another movie coming up that does the same thing, where it's like very quiet and then extremely loud and then very quiet, and this was the movie I was talking about. It does do that. It's far and away the thing I like the least about the movie.
Oh, absolutely.
It's too big of a difference in jumping of like whenever they talk, they're almost whispering, and then whenever there's zombies, it's like screaming, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, we have to find some middle ground here.
Yeah, and the music is always way too loud.
Yeah.
Like it just, and there's one scene where Selena's like, quiet. It's an infected. Like she screams it. Like, Selena, shut up.
Okay.
It's right
She's
there.
a bit harsh.
Yeah.
But she's kind of that bitch. You know?
Yeah.
That's exactly why she's alive.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, no, that's the one thing I couldn't get over. And I also watched this movie twice. But I just could not get over the fact that it's not balanced at all.
No. It's not. It's not. Yeah. It's probably like the only thing I don't like about the movie is I wish that it was a little bit more in the middle rather than two extremes, and that's it.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's just so many other things that you can like about it that I'm willing to let it slide.
Yeah. It was almost too much for me the first time that I watched it. Like, I was ready to just, like, I can't finish this movie. I can't. It's just too much because I was turning the volume up and turning it down. But I'm glad that I stuck through it because, to your point, everything else is great.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw it, I was at a sleepover, and we were like watching it late at night, and so we didn't want to like wake their parents up, so we kept like having to adjust the volume because we're like, we can't hear what they're saying, so we'd have to turn it up, and then zombies would come and we'd have to turn it down. We're like, oh my god, your parents are gonna kill us.
Too funny. Yeah, but anyway, that has nothing to do with how scary it is. But
that's okay. You know what? Is there really? We have key points we hit here, but is there really a structure? No.
Not even close.
We're straight up just vibing.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you know Ewan McGregor? He was supposed to be Jim.
Ewan.
Ewan? It's Ewan, isn't it?
Ewan?
Ewan? How do you say his fucking name?
I thought it was. Well, now I don't know.
I said it so many wrong ways. You forgot. Ewan? That's what I said the second time.
Okay, you were right the second time then.
Okay.
It is not
Ewan
Ewan
McGregor. It should be.
Ewan sounds like a Star Wars monster.
Wasn't he in Star Wars? It's perfect.
He was.
Look at that. Look at that. I know Star Wars. I know everything about it.
Why couldn't he be?
So Ewan was supposed to be in it, but then he and the director, Danny Boyle, they had a falling out.
Oh, sad.
And so then they tried to get Ryan Gosling, but he had scheduling conflicts. And so finally they got Cillian Murphy. And listen, I think Ewan or Ryan probably would have done a fine job. But I'm so glad it was Cillian.
Yeah, I do love Cillian. I am a little sad that we don't get a little taste of Ewan McGregor's.
Don't say what you're going to say.
You know exactly where I'm going with that. But you know what? I will settle for Cillian Murphy.
You would rather see Ewan's penis than Cillian's?
Yep.
Okay.
What?
I think I'd rather see Cillian's.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. Maybe it's because I've seen Cillian's now. Been there, done that.
You know what? That's true. Maybe I would rather see Ewan's because I've already seen
Cillian's. Ryan Gosling, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize he was around that long.
Who?
I mean, obviously he's old enough, but like, has he been acting that long? Didn't this movie come out in 2001 or something?
Yeah. Well, did it come out in I don't think it came out. Did it come out in 2001? They were filming in 2001, I know.
Oh, I don't know.
But yeah, he was in Murder by Numbers, which was like, what, 2002, 2003?
Oh.
So around the same time.
The more you know.
Yeah. But yeah, I know they were filming in 2001 because the scene where like Jim, Selena, Frank, and Hannah are all like celebrating, that was filmed on September 11th, 2001. I know. And they were like, they're not even American. But Danny Boyle even said, he was like, it was still like so weird to shoot that type of a scene on that day when they knew like that had happened.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yikes.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only day that Disneyland had been closed until COVID.
I mean, makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, had to
Yeah, that was
slip that little Disney fact in there like I usually do. But yeah, wild.
Yeah, insane.
I can't even imagine.
That's weird. It's weird.
How, speaking of penises,
Yes.
how sexy did you think it was?
I gave it a 2.
Oh,
I almost kind of want to give it like a. It's not quite a 2.5 though, is it?
well, 2.25 makes aggregating very difficult.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't do it. So I'll stick with my 2.
Okay.
But yeah, Selena and Jim have their little like cutesy shit going on, which is cute. And I'm a Cillian fan, I'll admit it. Despite his blue eyes. Ugh, worst thing about him.
You can be attracted to him, you just can't trust him.
Yeah, exactly. And then him just like fucking the guys up at the end was like, that was pretty hot. I was like, yeah, that's right. And you get to see a peen, which is, always refreshing when usually in horror movies you just see boobies.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is our first peen.
You know what? I believe this is our first peen.
Wow.
That's what the episode should be titled. First peen?
Okay. 21 movies in, and we finally saw a penis in a horror movie.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, I mean, I'd rather see boobs, but
oh, well,
I'm
we've
not
seen
complaining.
boobs though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have to tip the scales back a little bit.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And we did see it twice.
Did we see it twice?
I thought so.
I thought we just saw it in the opening scene.
No, I thought there was 2 scenes where he's naked. Maybe it's just because I watched the movie twice.
You just rewound and
like,
watched it again.
Yeah, it's like indelibly like in my brain that I've seen it twice now.
Yeah. How sexy did you rate it?
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
I 2? What did you say?
Oh, I said a 2.
Okay, yeah. 2. 2. Sorry, I forgot.
No, you stay true to you.
Yeah, 2. I agree. And
for the 2 times you saw the penis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. Actually, well, no, I'm gonna give it a 2 because if I gave it a 2.5, I'd have to explain myself, and I don't want to.
Oh.
So 2.
Well, now I'm wondering.
Well, another day.
Okay. Yeah. You can DM me.
It's a 2.5 in my heart.
I won't. You know what? You can just say 2.5, and you don't have to explain yourself.
Okay. It's a 2.5 in my heart.
Great. There you go.
There we go.
It's 2.5.
Yep.
All right. Well, how fucked up did you think it was?
See, this is where I thought long and hard. Another penis joke about how the difference between scare factor and fucked up factor, because those are different things.
True.
And I thought the like stuff with the army people was more fucked up than it was scary. So I give it a 2.5 fucked up.
All right.
Yeah. Also, there's a lot of, I always get kind of the heebie-jeebies when there's live animals in movies. It gives me the heebie-jeebies because you never know what filming practices are like. So that's more of like a personal thing. But with all the rats running around and the chimpanzees were angry, like, how do you, like, why were the rats running? Like, how'd you make them run like that? Why were the chimpanzees angry? Why, like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
2.5.
I don't think it's that hard to get rats to run, but
All together in the same direction?
Mm,
I don't know. How?
I don't know, just drop something loud.
Okay.
Scatter.
Is that ethical?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know
Yeah.
how much of that was CGI, how much of it was actual animals. I don't know the film. There was nothing about that
Right.
that I found, at least. So who's to say?
You?
Yeah. I gave it a 2. Similar. There's a bit of gore, but I think, again, the ending, the military men, their whole agenda
Yeah. You keep saying
was
the
really
ending,
gross.
but that was really like the back half of the movie, right?
Well, yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Just the end section, I suppose.
The army dudes.
Yeah, they were gross. You know, Hannah's a minor. It's gross regardless, but that adds to it. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, they suck. So that was pretty fucked up.
Yeah. And Selena's like immediate reaction to just like drug her. Kind of fucked. I mean,
I'm
smart.
also like, well, yeah, like what else could she have done?
Yeah. I thought exactly like what Hannah thought. I thought she was gonna kill her. Which, like,
Oh yeah.
maybe.
See, I didn't think that, but only because Selena's kind of like built up as this character who will do anything to survive the whole time. So I was like,
That's true.
I did think that she was just gonna drug her because I was like, I think Selena's the type that's like, just get through it and we'll figure out how to survive. Like, you know?
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Overall,
3.
3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
The sound, the sound mixing really took it out of me. Like, it was exhausting to watch. So otherwise it probably would have been a 4.
Okay.
But it was just so hard physically to watch the movie. What about you?
5.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite scary movies of all time.
Really?
Yeah. I think in terms of zombie or infection movies, like this and Train to Busan are just peak. I think it's so good.
Did you give Train to Busan a 5?
Mm-hmm.
Train to Busan is better than this movie.
Mm.
Is this better than Train to
Really?
Busan?
No, that's why they're both 5s.
Okay. I was trying to catch you on that one.
They're peak to me. They're both so good. I will rewatch this movie a million times. I think it's so good. Also, that just reminded me though, but you lied.
What?
On Instagram when you released Saw, you said it was our highest rated movie. Train to Busan was.
It was?
Yeah, we both gave it 5s.
I gave it a 5? It was like the third movie we watched.
No, because remember, you gave A Quiet Place a 5, and then you said in Train to Busan that it tricked you into thinking it was a 5, and Train to Busan is actually a 5.
Okay, to be clear, I don't think either of those are a 5 anymore. Train to Busan?
You don't think Train to Busan is a 5?
4.5.
What do you think is a 5?
Quiet Place, probably a 4.
So have you not seen a 5 then?
I don't think so. Like, I'm just, so, okay. So now I have other movies to compare them all to, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I've probably like, Alien's probably the closest to a 5, right? Did I give that a 4.5?
In your eyes? I don't
I
remember.
don't
No,
know. I need to start writing
yeah, I
these down
don't
better.
remember what we rated everything.
Yeah, I need to start writing these down better. But like, of all the movies we've watched,
You think Alien was your favorite?
maybe not my favorite, but like the
Oh,
best.
okay.
Train to Busan's up there. Scream. See, it's hard. Like, I don't know when to reserve my 5s.
I don't reserve my 5s.
Yeah, you do. I mean, your 5s are
I've given out so many 5s.
nuh-uh.
Oh yeah, I've given out, hold on. 2, 3, 4.
There was just a ghost orb on your screen.
Oh my god, it's happening. I think this was my 5th 5.
Wild. You're not even
I would
remotely
go
interested in
back
that
and
ghost
look at
orb?
some of
You dead ass just had a ghost orb.
Okay, I don't believe in ghost orbs.
All right, well, I'm writing a note to remind myself to take a clip of
anyways.
that.
Okay.
Okay, so you've had 5 5s. Okay.
I just like, I don't know. If I really love a movie, 5 in my eyes, you know?
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
Like this movie, like, yeah, I would change the sound. But that doesn't, for me, it didn't take away from the fact that it's a great story with great acting. And oh god, it's just like this movie's so much fucking fun to watch.
It is, but it has a major flaw
Eh,
in watchability.
but like I've seen it how many times now? I'll rewatch this movie again tonight. I don't care.
Wild. It bothered me so much. But I'm also the person who, like, if this movie had like a Hans Zimmer soundtrack, a James Horner soundtrack, I don't know. If it had a different soundtrack and better editing, it would probably be a 5. Because to your point, story's perfect, acting's perfect.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
But that's okay. We're allowed to disagree.
but we don't usually, so it's weird.
Yeah. But also, fuck you with the soundtrack. That song that plays like in the end of the movie or whatever, it's called In the House in a Heartbeat by John Murphy.
Yeah.
I used to listen to it while I would like go hiking and running and stuff. It's just fucking amp me up.
But okay, so here's another thing. The beginning scene where it's like building tension and he's like, where the fuck is everybody?
Mm-hmm.
So loud, so overdramatic, and so long. Why did it have to be 10 minutes of him running around? Like, he was just running around for
I don't know,
long.
like how else do you see like the impact of the world?
Read it in a newspaper.
Well, I guess no, ew. Then it'd be like fucking A Quiet Place where it's just like pans over a newspaper that's like, they hear us. Like that's so stupid. That's so dumb. Show, don't tell. That is literally number 1 in movie. Show, don't tell. That's just exposition.
They did show by showing the clippings of the newspapers.
No, that's telling.
No.
If you have to like just read or hear what happened instead of you showing the world as it is, which by the way, A Quiet Place didn't even have to include that. That opening scene with the kid was enough. We already knew what was happening. They didn't need to include that newspaper clipping. That's why that was shitty.
True. Okay, that's fair.
Thank
However,
you. I know.
that scene was so drawn out
Eh,
and
not for
loud.
me personally. Well, they would shut down the streets of London to get those shots.
They did, didn't they? Like they would have had to.
Yeah. Early in the morning for 1 hour every day until they like had enough filming. They got them to shut down literally the streets of London so that they could get those shots. And apparently they hired like just really attractive women to tell the drivers what was happening so that they wouldn't be as mad.
That would work on me.
Just a hot woman's like, I'm so sorry. Cillian Murphy's penis is running around London. I'd be like, oh, well, what are you gonna do?
Oh my god. Too funny. Shoot. Well, to be clear, I did like this movie a lot. And I would also watch it again.
Yeah, you don't have to rate everything the way that I rate it.
I know.
You're wrong, but like it's
Oh.
fine. No.
I don't have to, but if I don't, it's incorrect.
True. Yes. Now you're getting it.
Okay. No, it's just the sound editing. That's
Oh, but everything
Sorry.
else.
Frank. Love Frank.
Frank was so good.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's heartbreaking, and he dies, and Hannah's so sad, and then Hannah being drugged up is so funny. Well, I mean, it's not funny, like, but like
Yeah.
the shit that she's saying is funny.
Yes. Yeah, there
Oh,
is.
and him finding his parents.
Yeah.
I will never not think about that he like finds a little card that they like left him.
Yeah.
And it says,
Don't
with
wake
endless love, we left you sleeping. Now we're sleeping too. Don't wake up.
Yeah.
It's so heartbreaking. Like, can you imagine? Oh, they didn't want him to wake up. And he
Would you?
did. No, but that's the whole thing is like, they wrote it hoping that he would stay in the coma and be safe.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful movie, man.
They did that in Last of Us, in a way, by the way.
Did they? Spoiler. Just kidding.
So I just,
I'll watch it. I'll watch it. I'll watch it. I swear.
You gotta watch it. It's very good.
All right. Well, would you survive?
Nope. No, I would not.
Why? Nope. Why not?
I don't. Would you?
Well, explain yourself first.
Okay. I can't run. Is one.
It's kind of important.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Kind of loud, nosy. Like if like shit's going down, if I hear shit going down, I'm gonna like.
You're investigating.
What's going on? And I'm fucked.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. What about you?
I mean, both of the female characters live. So, no, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I would die. No, if it was a Walking Dead situation where I just had to like jog to get away from them, sure.
Yeah.
If they're full on sprinting at me, it's GG's no re,
Nope.
I'm outie.
Yeah.
I am not. No chance.
Yeah, there's just no way to. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And like,
no.
I'm so clumsy. Like, blood's gonna get places, and I'm gonna like I've always my hands are always like cut up, and I'm just blood everywhere.
Yeah, I would need a Selena to protect me. That's for sure.
Yeah, and maybe that's what it is. Is do you have a Selena to protect you?
I don't.
I certainly don't. So we're dead. Sorry, Dylan.
Dead. Yeah. Well, What are you gonna do?
Die.
Die. But,
Actually. Hmm.
All right. Are you ready to predict next week's film?
Yes.
So next week, in honor of which we're filming this a few weeks beforehand, but when we release this, next week will be Katie's birthday. So,
Oh, yeah.
in honor of your birthday week, we're doing Happy Death Day.
Oh, cute.
Cute.
What about your birthday week? It's like both of our birthday weeks.
This will be released on my birthday week.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
actually, technically, no, because my birthday is on a Saturday. This will be released the Tuesday after my birthday,
Okay.
but that's
Well, it's like
okay.
a belated birthday to you. One of your favorite
Just
movies.
watching any horror movie is my birthday present.
Okay,
so-
that's true. That's true.
All
Okay.
right, so what do you know about Happy Death Day?
Literally 0.
Okay, great. Tell me what it's about.
Okay. A guy named Dave
Mm-hmm.
is celebrating his birthday party.
Yep.
It's like not found footage, but like VHS tapes. This is the beginning of the movie. It's like VHS tapes
Okay.
of like at his birthday party, and he's like looming over his cake, he's gonna like blow out his candles. And that's all I've got. That's literally all I've got. Okay. I'm still thinking. I don't plan these. I don't want
Make
these
it
to
up
be
as you
too
go.
rehearsed. Yeah, I don't want to be too
Yeah.
rehearsed, so I don't like think about these ahead of time. I also had no idea what movie we were doing next week. So shoot.
Okay, he's blowing out his candles.
blowing
What
out his
happens
candles.
to him, Katie? What happens to Dave?
So okay. So Dave blows out his candles. He makes a wish.
Mm.
And his wish is that he wishes his life was more exciting. Because he's Dave. He's probably like a finance guy.
Yeah,
And he's
he
like,
wants to be Danger Dave.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So he makes his wish like, I wish my life was more exciting. And then his life gets more exciting because grandma sitting across from him gets her brains blown out.
Just like that,
Just like that. Somebody comes in the door, just guns blazing. And Dave's like, oh, my life is so much more exciting now. He like flips
And
the
then-
table. He flips
Oh,
the
okay.
table. He's like, oh, this person killed my grandma. And then now he has to go and find the person that killed his grandma. And that person is like Dave's stalker.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
makes the movie scary.
Got it.
Am I close?
And it's like John Wick, but like with a grandma
Instead of a puppy. Oh, no.
No, you're not even slightly close. No,
Sad.
sorry.
What genre is it other than horror?
Time loop.
Time loop? It's like
Yeah.
Groundhog Day?
Mm-hmm.
It's horror movie Groundhog Day?
It is also, I'm going to tell you this because otherwise you'll hate it. It's also a horror comedy. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good to know.
Yes.
That's
but
probably
I
why I
feel
asked.
like you would have picked up on it. It'd be kind of, maybe not though. Who knows with you? Yeah. And in my defense, when I planned out this whole schedule, that was before I knew that you didn't really like horror comedies, otherwise I wouldn't have done it for your birthday.
As many of them as you did. Which, by the way,
Well,
I could
that-
check
and
to see what
also-
movies are coming up next. I just don't.
Yeah. But also horror and comedy kind of go hand in hand. There's a lot of horror comedies out there, so it's kind of hard to avoid them.
I'll believe it the day I see it.
Oh, you have?
I did think that Cabin in the Woods was pretty funny.
Thank you. I honestly think like when I sorted out all the movies by genre, I think like Supernatural was the longest, and then it was horror comedy.
Really?
Like there's a lot of them. I think yeah, and then maybe like foreign films, was next.
Oh,
Just because that's like a really big
yeah.
genre.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all the genres, just foreign language. So
Yeah. And we haven't watched one of them in a long time.
yeah, what was our last one?
Martyrs. Long time ago.
Shit, you're right. Our
Mhm.
next one's not too far off.
What is it?
Ringu.
Ringu? I
Yeah.
know her.
There you go. All right, well, cool.
Fun stuff.
The funnest.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, there it is.
All right, well, that wraps it up for today. If there are any movies you'd like to hear us talk about, please let us know in the comments or shoot us a DM on our socials.
Thanks so much for listening. Next week, we're going to be talking about 2017's black comedy film, Happy Death Day. We hope to see you there. Bye.